This is Team 8's evaluation of Cola Wars.
Question 1. Why historically has the carbonated soft drink industry been so profitable? What does the 5-force bottle reveal? Our team feels that it's been profitable because the demand has continually increased. There was high barriers to entry, patented formulas, large capital investment costs. Coke and Pepsi had large buying powers with their suppliers, bottlers, and retailers. There were no strong threats of competition. There were no substitutes that truly affected the CSD market share. Coke dominated the CSD market for a significant period of time. There was an intense rivalry between Coke and Pepsi on creating and entering into new beverage markets, but not necessarily on price. Strong brand loyalty kept consumers with Coke and Pepsi.
Question 2. Compare the economics of the concentrated business to the bottling business. Why is profitability so different? Concentrated suppliers' power plays a large role in the profitability of the bottling business. We can see that the COGS for the bottler is 58% of their expenses. The concentrate supplier only has the cost of concentrate itself, while the bottler has to pay for the other activities and the container for the final product. This includes the bottler contracts that were decided upon by the concentrate suppliers. They were able to control the bottle in a way. Their bottle lines were so different. The threat of entrance is large for both businesses. However, due to Coke and Pepsi formula, it keeps new entrants at bay. Essentially, anyone could be a bottler, as you only needed to capital invest for the factories and didn't have to fight brand loyalty.
Question 3. How has the competition between Coke and Pepsi affected the industry's profits? These companies have held the major market share for a significant period of time, and due to their domination, they have demanded lower prices from all suppliers. This allowed all competition to benefit from the lower prices, including the Dr. Pepper Snapple Group. Their competition has raised the industry's profits due to their intense competition and rivalry, and the competition was always about growing the industry, all about new CSD flavors, new bottling practices, and buying of new entrants that entered the market. The firms never really competed on price.
Question number 4. How can Coke and Pepsi sustain their profits in the wake of flattening demand for CSD and the growing popularity of non-CSDs? We believe that both the companies, Pepsi as well as Coke, need to continue their expansion into non-CSD concentrates. As the consumption of CSD goes down, we believe that the consumption of non-CSD will also continue to rise. They have so far bought and consolidated a number of bottling companies as well as increased their efficiencies. And they will need to continue to do so moving forward as well. The other area of interest is their continued expansion into countries where there's a growing middle class. Pepsi has always trailed Coke in terms of international presence, and this is something they can expand in the future as well, in addition to the snack food industry.
So in conclusion, the reason that Coke and Pepsi and the soda market as a whole has enjoyed large profits is, we'll look at this through the kind of the 5 forces here, is new entrants and threat of substitute. So they had significant barriers for new entrants into the concentrate market due to the strong brand loyalty of Coke and Pepsi. Also substitutes such as non-CSDs and non-carbs. Most of those companies that have been beginning to have large increases in market share have been bought up by one of these 2 companies. Kind of as Aaron mentioned, the bargaining power of suppliers, because Coke and Pepsi have traditionally bought so much of non-specialized products such as sugar and water, that Coke and Pepsi have been able to keep these prices down, which has kind of lowered the bargaining power of the suppliers. The bargaining power of buyers, Coke and Pepsi have such strong brand loyalty. You don't usually see people switch from a Diet Coke to a Diet Pepsi. And so due to this high brand loyalty and brand equity, we don't see large buying power for the buyers. And rivalry among competitors, Coke and Pepsi's rivalry has only increased the industry's profitability by driving down costs by suppliers and by also increasing the number of products that they both have released onto the market.